The Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy in Parliament is being accused of rushing through public hearings on the Electricity Regulation Amendment Bill. Mining affected community group United in Action says the public hearings are a sham. The organization's Meshack Mbangula says participants have had to wait for long periods in the scorching heat just to get a chance to air their views. Mbangula joins us now for more on this particular story. Thank you very much, Meshack, for your time here on eNCA. Just give us your other examples, Meshack, in terms of your accusation that the public participants is not being taken seriously by Parliament.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Firstly, it was really disturbing to see that they rushed this electricity regulation amendment bill, because they introduced it on the 16th of September, and by the 26th of September, they started doing public hearing, which is in the district of Vembe, Waterberg, and Skokone, where people mostly live in rural areas and have no time to go through this complicated bill and understand it. And over and above that, when they started on the 26th, in Skokone, people waited there from 8 in the morning till about 11, and it was very, really hot. And that shows beyond any reasonable doubts that they undermine or marginalize the communities. And this is just a tick box for, as if they do this public hearing, to go and say people have agreed or disagreed to it. But it was really disappointing to see how this is rushed through the communities. And as Makua, we have been asking them to have a meeting to amend some of the bills, because they were really favoring the private companies and really marginalizing the communities.
When you say that participants who are supposed to be commenting on this bill were left in the scorching heat, what would be going on inside the hall where they are, or rather, what would be going on while they wait to voice their opinions on the bill?
What really took place is that people were waiting outside, and they came late, and arriving late, and not really even apologizing to say, look, because of 1, 2, 3, we were delayed, and that's why we came late. But they decided just to start the meeting about 11:30 without any apologizing, and we still demand that apology, because that itself shows that they don't take communities seriously. And over and above that, you can see that the people that are brought into this meeting are rent a crowd so that they can come in and agree to this bill, which is the red communities around that area were not even part of those meetings. People that were brought in by Makua to try and make sure people understand and are capacitated in this issue, so that we cannot allow the privatization of Eskom, because if we do allow that, the prices of the electricity will go high, because private companies are not interested in benefiting communities. They are interested in maximizing their profits. And we need to definitely make sure that this bill does not pass, because we will be in trouble. I believe if you look at the SAP airlines, it was privatized, and the prices are very high. We have enough resources of coal, and that cannot allow the private companies to come in and maximize profit, make our people more poor, and more, in fact, unemployment rate will grow.
So what are you insinuating is going on here if you're accusing Parliament of this? Because, I mean, public participation is very important. It's also part of Parliament's, oversight role. So when you're saying that or communities have been left not to actually voice out their opinions with this important bill, what are you insinuating?
You see, firstly, before you even go out there publicizing the bill for people to intervene or come up with their views, do submissions, you make sure that you give them enough time for the bill to go out there and get people who understand and simplify for them, because these bills are written by the lawyers. and the language there is very complicated. If you said to a normal community to read that bill, you cannot understand it. In this case, they come with a bill into the public hearing, which is a very huge bill. And by 10 o'clock, you start the meeting, and then by 1 o'clock, I expect the community member to have understood the bill and say yes or no to that bill. That itself, it shows that that bill should have been given to the communities a month before, because that was long drafted, but it was given a few days, and we are expected to come into the meeting a few hours and understand it and send it. What we are saying is we need what we call free, prior, informed consent. Enough time should be given to the communities and get their people who can explain, unpack the bill and make sure that people understand. When they agree to it, they should be agreeing from an informed base. In this case, it's just a simple term. They should have said we are privatizing ESCOM, and people should say no or yes. But they're putting terms and saying we want to enlarge the scope of people bringing in energy and so on. But we know it's a lie, because most of the time the government, whatever they touch, disappears. We're having education collapse, infrastructure collapse. So we cannot allow this case to allow these issues of ESCOM. We are facing, as we speak, load shedding. And now, if you are facing load shedding, then we add issues of privatization. That means we are adding the expense. People cannot afford to buy electricity. We will be living in the dark. Cannot allow this.
Well, public participation is expected, obviously, at some point to close, Meshack, and hopefully you are going to be speaking to lawyers on behalf of those communities so that at least public participation processes are reopened again. Meshack Mbangula is the National Coordinator of Mining Affected Communities United in Action.